Hello guys, welcome to Sports Maestros TV one more time. It's always a pleasure to be in your company. Today we want to take a closer look at Chelsea. If you are a fan or a follower, it's time to get concerned. We'll be reviewing the Todd Boehly era and we'll see what can be done differently to salvage the club that we love. Radic, welcome.
Thank you very much. Wow.
It's been a year already that the Todd Boehly consortium took over at Chelsea.
Yes, from the moment the Russians invaded Ukraine, we already knew there was a problem. FA immediately attacked Roman Abramovich. We saw that coming because even before then, he was banned from the country and had to come back after like 2 years with an Israeli passport. So we saw that coming. But the issue now is, even if you wanted to take the club away from the Russian businessman, you should bring someone else that you think will fit the huge vacuum that man would have left.
While I do not want us to dwell majorly on the politics, but you would also think that Todd Boehly fits the bill. It ticks the right boxes. He's been a serial investor, a very successful investment manager. He's a man who has got his hand in every pie.
Yes.
And then talking about sports itself, from baseball to basketball, he's had successes. LA Lakers, even Strasbourg, in Ligue 1. So why would it not be a good fit at Chelsea?
I understand where you're coming from. But then you cannot compare football to baseball. They are two different games.
Or to basketball.
You cannot even compare to basketball because the way basketball is being played is different from the way.
How about Strasbourg in the French league?
Strasbourg in the French league is just one of the new investments.
Okay.
It's one of the new investments. He just started dabbling into football, so he has no prior knowledge about how to manage a football club.
No, we are looking at investment generally. Sports investment. So we are looking at somebody who's been very successful at different investment industries. He's in digital media. He's in he's everywhere.
But you agree with me that in football, when you are investing, you have to consider the fact that you want to invest in good infrastructures, in very good players, and also have the right advisors around you, the right experts to put you in the right direction. Football is not just a sport where you come with your money and you expect that everything will be rosy. Take Anzi Makakala, for example.
All right.
We've had rich men who have bought football clubs in the past and they failed. So football is a delicate sport when it comes to investment.
But would you say that Boehly's first year look like how Roman's first year too was? For instance, Roman also didn't win anything in the first year.
At least Roman came second.
we lost out in the Champions League.
We lost out in the Champions League semi-finals.
Okay.
He came second. So there was an intention. We could see the intention. But this guy, he came in and we had the worst season in the history of EPL for Chelsea. And even in the Champions League, okay, we managed to get to the quarterfinals and we crashed in the quarterfinals. In short, one would think we shouldn't have even got to the quarterfinals in the first place.
Okay, but like you said, just stretching your arguments further, if indeed it was new to football, we can understand that the first year would maybe a few bumps here and there. Would you say that by now the ship has been stabilized?
I would say I wouldn't even say that because look at last season. We let some players go. Rudiger left. It wasn't their fault.
Okay.
He already had it in mind to leave. Christensen left. Not only Christensen, Marcos Alonso left.
Yes.
Timo Werner left. And you couldn't help. I couldn't help but think. I think these players had already seen the writing on the wall. And you can tell by the exodus that is about to happen also. In January, Jorginho left. Now you see a lot of players about to go. You're about to sell Havertz to our biggest London rival, Arsenal.
But if I may ask, has it not been the Chelsea way to lose players? You know, Chelsea has always been an open door, a revolving door. Players come in and go. So that a few players have gone, perhaps.
Not this many.
But still, other players have come in.
Not this many.
I can't think of a season that new players ain't coming into Chelsea or old players leave. So is it really different now?
Let me paint it this way. Let me tell you why it's different. Well, I think we should start doing the numbers game.
All right.
I start mentioning these players, and I want you to start counting and see where we get to. I mentioned Rudiger, 1. I mentioned Christensen, Alonso, Werner. I mentioned Jorginho.
Okay.
Now Kovacic is about to follow.
Okay.
To Manchester.
That makes 6.
That makes 6. Kante is already gone to Saudi Arabia.
All right.
That's 7.
Kai Havertz
is going to Arsenal.
Mason Mount.
That's 8. Mason Mount is going. Loftus-Cheek is going.
All right.
That's 10 already.
Okay.
Pulisic is going. That's 11. Aspi is going to Inter. That is 12.
Many of these.
I'm not even done.
Ready. Okay. You are on 12. Pause.
I'm on 12.
Pause.
No?
After 5 or 6, many of the names you mentioned are still speculations.
Yes, there are still speculations.
I can't, for instance, let me give you a popular name. I can't remember or recall the number of times DJ Drogba was said to be on his way out of Chelsea. He never did. Not
this way. See, Mount had already determined in his mind that he's leaving Chelsea. Now, even if he doesn't leave this season, it's certain that he will leave next season. Because from sources, he has said that even if he stays for this season, he's not extending that contract. So, he's going next season. So the best bet, the best choice for Chelsea, the best decision for Chelsea is to sell him right now. And that is why we want to make the best out of the transfer market by selling Mason Mount. So believe me, it's going. So Havertz is going for medicals already. You know that. So now that there's been an exodus, but a lot of good players too have come in. Okay.
Chelsea in January spent more money than any club in any transfer window in the history of football.
I believe Wale is being sarcastic right now.
But indeed.
I think you are being sarcastic right now because you and I know that we will never agree to the Modric and Enzo Fernandez signing for the amount we spent on them. 88 million and 107 million pounds. Almost 200. Close to about 195. That is ridiculous. That's ludicrous.
Is it for me, you know? I look at when Roman also came. The sums he spent were ridiculous at that point. The second season, the season Drogba came, the season a number of players came. Mourinho came from Porto, and he brought in Ferreira, he brought in Carvalho. You know, we had so many players then that we outspent every other team in the Premier League.
But we didn't break the record. We didn't break.
I think we did at that for that year.
Because I'm sure we did not beat the Galacticos.
No. I'm talking of 2004.
Yes, I know.
December of 2004.
The kind of money Real Madrid spent to bring in Zidane.
But you know they never brought in all those players at once.
Yes,
it was always a Galactico per year.
No, not one, 2, 3.
Never 3. Maybe 1. Indeed. The year Zidane came, wasn't the year Figo came, wasn't the year Ronaldo came. No, they kept bringing those players in installments. But for Chelsea, it was more or less like there was a different outlook to the dressing room.
Spending over 600 million euros.
Many will argue that it wasn't the first time that Chelsea will be doing that.
That's probably like a toddler getting his first box and deciding to spend it on chocolates and whatever.
Todd Boehly wouldn't be called a toddler when it comes to sports.
When it comes to football, he's a toddler.
Well, what do you think, Radic? When he came, he asked the entire management to leave. Could that also be part of the issues we are dealing with, from the director of football to the technical manager to even the football manager,
even the field management staff.
You know, everybody left.
everybody
Peter Cech, Emenalo, Gravinoskia,
but still,
you know, all of them.
The CEO,
and then Thomas Tuchel.
No,
well, the chairman had to leave.
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know,
Bruce Box.
and the chief medical director.
It was a massive sweep.
Now, like I said, I think these players saw the writing on the wall, and they saw that this management is not a management that it is advisable to play under. Because if we continue this way, God forbid, I just hope we won't end up regretting it. I just hope we won't end up missing out of European places this year, next season, the next 2 seasons, because that is going to be disastrous. We'll end up finding ourselves in a wilderness we may never be able to get out from in the next couple of years.
So a diagnosis of the issues that we are currently facing at Chelsea. One is the fact that too many players are coming in, too many players are leaving.
Yes.
So there hasn't been enough time to forge the Chelsea identity.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I say, because you know, when you mention players that won the Champions League for Chelsea in 2021, you see they had this particular character. Mention players like Mount. They wanted to win something. Havertz wanted to prove that, wanted to justify his price tag. We had Timo Werner, who wasn't scoring but was very, very hardworking and was working for every member of the team. We had an N'Golo Kante. Mention these players. These players had blue bloods in them, even the ones that were new. You know, you could relate with them because they were determined to win something.
All right.
Now you have a bunch of players who have not really gone far in their career in football. They are talking about Enzo Fernandez. I don't want to overflow the issue because we talked about
stop picking scapegoats.
Yes. So I don't want to talk about.
But for me, it isn't even the fact that they are young, but for the fact that there hasn't been so much of a blending among the players in the club. You know, last season it was Thiago Silva that said, you know, maybe they had to extend the dressing room.
You know, and that shows you the fact that shows you the point you are trying to make, that you kept on bringing players into the team without a proper plan. When you have so many players in the team, players you bought for big money, they expect to play.
Yeah.
Where do you think you want? Where do you want to put the players that are already in the team, in the system, that knows about the Chelsea system? You get. Now you have a lot of dissatisfied players, and you can understand why many of these players think we should leave. I understand why Jorginho would leave in January windows.
So you would say that it is important with that bloated squad to shed weight, and that is what the club is doing at the moment.
Yes, what they are doing right now has its advantages.
All right. So Todd Boehly is getting everything wrong.
He got it wrong and he's trying to remedy the situation.
Okay.
So understandably, if you spend a total of 600 million plus, you want to balance your books. And that is the reason why many of these players are about to be sold. And what is this thing about selling players to Saudi Arabia just to get money? You know, is
it about the club or about the player?
It begs the question.
In the case of N'Golo Kante, it appears now.
No, it's not. I'm getting there.
Okay.
It begs the question: what is that? What interest aligns you with Saudi Arabia? Because, for example, we wanted to sell Lukaku to Saudi Arabia, and he said he wasn't going. That he would rather stay in Inter, but Inter doesn't have the funds. So we wanted to send Lukaku there. We are planning on sending Ziyech, Mendy, Koulibaly to Saudi Arabia.
Is it a function of what the club wants or the interest of these players? No. You look at Koulibaly, for instance. How old is he? Already in his 30s. Perhaps he wants to go to Saudi Arabia. You look at N'Golo Kante. It signifies interest to be in Saudi Arabia. So many of these players are already thinking, hey, we are at the stage of our careers where we need that big money for the next
that was why
few years.
I did not mention Kante for that reason. But
indeed, Chelsea want to sell so that we can become financially healthy.
Exactly.
All right.
You can never tell me that Ziyech wanted to go to decided he wanted to go to.
He hasn't even shown aptitude. He hasn't shown appetite. For me, if I heard tomorrow that Hakim Ziyech retired from football, I wouldn't be shocked. So we cannot use, and maybe we shouldn't even go there for this episode. It's a debate for another day.
I think I should remind you.
1 minute. It's a debate for another day. The application of some of the players we have bought. But perhaps, maybe, like I said, we should talk about some
but I'm still going to talk about that Ziyech, because I want you to remember the fact that Ziyech was minutes away from going to PSG on loan. We frustrated the transfer and we gave some flimsy excuses about why some paperwork did not work out and he had to come back to Chelsea. So you can't tell me the same player that was minutes away from getting into the PSG squad decided
Ziyech wasn't going to play at PSG.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Right,
he would have gotten into the squad. They wanted him.
Okay, but looking at it from another perspective, would you say that the greater problem has been the turnover of players or the turnover of managers? It has been a managerial musical chairs since the Todd Boehly era. 4 managers in a season. I don't even think Roman was that brutal.
You see, it's the turnover of all staff, whether football players, managers, top managers, people at the ends of affairs, people on the field. It's the turnover of staff in general.
So do Chelsea look like a club in transition?
That's hard to say, because right now it's like we want everything to happen suddenly. We want to bring all the players for big money and get them running immediately. It's not looking like we want transition, because if you wanted transition, many of these players will remain while you bring in some players. 4 players one season, another 4 the next season, while you ease out those that were already in the squad. That is what that's what I see as a proper transition.
Direct question, Radic. Did Chelsea get it right with Mauricio Pochettino?
I've never seen Pochettino as that world-class manager Chelsea needs to succeed. But with the way it's going, you have this bunch of young guys. I think it's okay for Pochettino to lead them into their future, maybe a bright future, hopefully. But with the caliber of players we have, young players who most likely are ready to listen, I think it's okay. We have Pochettino.
All right. Then finally, what do you see Chelsea achieve this season? We were 12th last time, 0 trophies. Is it going to be more of the same? Like it happened a few years back, we were mid-table, and then the following season we were champions?
I think it's going to be an overachievement if we get into the Champions League spot. Yes. But I see us getting into Europe. Whether it is Europa or Conference League, I cannot say. But it will be an overachievement
to finish in the top 4.
To finish in the top 4.
Are we back to the? No, let me put the question in another way. Are we in our Arsenal or Man U phase?
I hope not. But the way it is right now and the way it's going, it's looking like we are in an Arsenal phase.
Wow.
It's looking like we are in an Arsenal phase. I just hope we don't go through that same journey as Arsenal did, and what Man U is facing right now. We don't want to plummet. We want to forge ahead.
Very dire predictions from Radic. What do you think, guys? What exactly can Chelsea do to get better? Leave your comments so that we can have them, and then we can flesh up this discussion. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, and always watch out for our subsequent episodes. So that's this is going to be maybe our first of several that we are going to do about Chelsea. So if you're a Chelsea fan, stay tuned to this channel. More content will be dropping about your favorite club. So this is where we'll be signing out. Wale and Radic saying
ciao.
Bye.